What is going on, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to Mighty Mornings. That was a little snippet of what the show is going to be about. I am writing solo today because my friend Chris has to go to work. So, we are going to be talking about King Arthur and the Knights of Justice. So, as a kid, I've always been fascinated with King Arthur lore. I've loved knights, I loved everything about it. And when this show came out in 1992, I was blown away because there was a twist on the story, but it was such a fascinating twist on the story. I was just blown away. Good morning, AI. So, as you know, I'm talking about King Arthur and the Knights of Justice today. Um, don't run away. A lot of people that hear the show, they're like, "Yeah, that was all right," and I don't really care. I haven't come across a whole bunch of people that have been big fans of it, but I am, and I wanted to talk about it today because I'm by myself today, and I know Chris might have not been interested in talking about this. I mean, he would have if I asked him to, but uh, being a solo job today, I thought, why not talk about something that I really, really am passionate about? I love King Arthur and that whole lore, and when this show came out in 1992, I was immediately taken back because of how awesome the intro was for me. I love the intro of, you know, the song, the guitar play on it and everything. Good morning, B Rivera. Yes, I just got my tea here from Tim Hortons, which is, a Canadian staple here. So I got my tea here. I'm just to have my first sip. But yeah, King Arthur and the Knights of Justice is what we're talking about today. I don't know if you guys have seen it or not at all, or have any memory of it, whether it be good or bad. I would love to hear it, your thoughts on it. So, interesting enough, the show was actually created by several people. One of them was Avi Arad. I don't know if you guys remember him, who he is, but the guy was a creator for Toy Biz and created Marvel Studios. So he was a founder of Marvel Studios. So he was one of the people involved in creating this TV show, and it got two seasons with, I believe it was, I can't remember how many episodes it was, but yeah, it was two seasons of it, and it was so cool because the story was different. It was a Merlin is basically screwed. My cafe is better than Timmy's. Yeah, okay. Well, this is tea though. I don't drink coffee, so this is tea. And McDonald's tea, yeah, not so good. So I'll go with the steep tea in Timmy's. But coffee, I hear McCafe coffee, I heard is really good. So, what's up, Omar? What's up, Viper? Yeah, just talking about King Arthur and the Knights of Justice. I should maybe put up a banner or something up here so that I don't have to keep explaining to people what we're talking about, and just have um, next to me the banner. Nice adjust. I should just do a banner or something, an image, something. So you just come in and you're like, oh, okay, he's talking about that, and then maybe leave and not stay. Maybe I'll get the video game image on it because that looks pretty cool. Oh, as soon as I say the video game image, there's someone's logo on it, so I can't really do that one. There you go. Save images there. I'll just do that. Wow, the world's smallest. I'll listen in the background. Hey, as long as my voice helps you in your morning ventures, then yes, listen away, my friend. But anybody in here in the chat ever watched King Arthur and the Knights of the? Why do I keep saying Knights of Justice? I keep forgetting to say it. But anybody watch it? I hope you guys watched it because I loved it. I watched every single episode. And going back to what I was saying, what was cool about this was Merlin was basically screwed because his Knights of the Round Table were all captured by Morgana and frozen. So basically, the bad guys were about to just win everything and take Camelot. Merlin's like, I can't, I cannot do nothing. I can't just happen. I've got to do everything in my power, my magical power. And so, what's up? Elvis. Well, he said Elvin at the end here, corrected it. It is soothing, really? Okay. All right, cool. I appreciate that. But it was cool about the story was Merlin just basically said, okay, I'm going to go in time and look for a set of people that can come in here and basically replace Arthur for the time being and fight this war against Morgana and his her henchmen. And so he went into the future and found a football team, the New York Knights of New York or New York Knights, something like that. And there was a gentleman named Arthur Knight, of course, and he had a football team that supported him, and he was the quarterback of the team, the leader of the team, uh, you know, the one that everybody respected, and so he plugged these guys. It's funny, they're driving home in a bus on the side of a mountain. Okay, and then all of a sudden a portal opens up, and he kind of sucks these guys in there, and you have all these guys show up in this time. Oh, look, somebody's offering me a promotion. Isn't that cool? All right. Yeah. See you later. That's awesome. You can talk to my manager. You can email us and talk to our manager about promotions. Uh, and so these guys now have been teleported back in time into this world. You used to see the movie Excalibur, the Sword and Stone. You got to check this out. It is available on YouTube. Yeah, it's all flooding back. Huh? us old folks, it's all flooding back. Yeah, I mean, so basically they get thrown into the past, and Merlin's there. Merlin's like, listen, I need your help. I need you guys to be the Knights of the Round Table and beat Morgana and help me rescue the original King Arthur and his knights. Please do that, and I'll send you back in time, back to where you're from. And what was really cool about this is the part that blew me. You got me interested. Yeah, check it out. It'll be on YouTube. Trust me, if you love this stuff, you're gonna love the show. I mean, the animation is so. I mean, yeah, remember I think more than 30 years ago the animation came out, so it's not the greatest. It's fun. It's corny a little bit sometimes, but that's what 90s kind of animation was, right? It was when we were watching it, we thought it was the greatest thing ever. All the shows we loved, but when you look at it 30 years from now, some of them don't really hold up. This one for me kind of did. It was like, you know what? It's just a past show that I loved, and you look at the storyline now, not so much. But the cool thing about these guys was I love the imagination of the team that wrote this. All the knights had really good armor, that fantastic armor. But the magic part about all of this was the shields would have a specific animal on it. Arthur would have obviously the dragon because of his last name, Pendragon, and then you'd have somebody with a cat, or like a puma, or a lion, or a goat, or a ram, or something like that, or an eagle. There were a bunch of I can't remember all the animals, but there are a bunch of animals on there, and you could summon these animals through your shield, the magic that Merlin gave you. So you could summon them and have them come and help you and aid you in need. So that was the crazy part about it, is when you saw that, you're like, holy crap, they just took it up a notch here. And it was just so good. I really wish somebody or today would go and make figures from that line. I know you can only get so much, but there was a lot of bad guys too that had some crazy armor looking, characters. You could probably get about 30 characters out of this, and make it a limited line, but it'd be fun. It was late 80s and early 90s. American animation was rough, and I hadn't found any anime yet. Hey, even anime was a little rough too, and their style sometimes were hit or miss too. But yeah, no, I hear what you mean, but we all love them, right? I mean, we just have to remember when we were kids, did we love them? And if we did, we got to be honest with ourselves here. Like, it was meant for that time. It wasn't. They weren't planning to have us love it for 40 years or 50 years. They were just trying to sell some merch and entertain some kids on Saturday mornings, right? So, and they did that, and to this day we still love that era. So I think they did their job, even the animation it doesn't hold. They did the job in terms of grabbing us and making us go to this toy store or buying comic books or buying memorabilia from the shows. They did their job way, way, way above and beyond. Yeah, it was great for their. Good morning, Darth. Hope your night shift went well at the museum. Everyone's like, what are you talking about? Well, Darth is works for a museum. That's all you need to know. He's one of the museum's protectors. One of the cool things is, so I have a couple of friends who are customizers. As you guys know, I have a friend named Brad, who's an amazing customizer who works with us in A&R. Oh, by the way, if you're wondering why the A&R light is not up, it malfunctioned. I think something's wrong with the wiring. I went to plug it in this morning and it's just like, nope, not doing it. So it's probably some wiring thing that I have to kind of take it off and fix it. We'll get it back on. Yes, exactly like Ben Stiller. Thank you. Yes. Darth is the real life Ben Stiller. He protects the realm of his museum. So I had a couple of my friends, like I said, Brad, he's a great customizer. And I asked him, listen, I would love to have maybe a figure from that show custom made. And I said, let me know if you can do this or not. So Brad's like, okay, I'll take a look at, what kind of figure would go well with it. And I said, as long as it's Marvel Legends scale, I don't care. You go ahead and let me know, and I'll, compensate you for whatever the parts and labor, whatever it took to do it. And then I also asked one of my friends, Customs by Matthew, who, if you probably guys know, on Instagram, he is an amazing customizer, has made lots of customized figures, amazing ones. And I asked him as well if he would do me a favor, seeing he's a friend of mine, if he would make me a figure from the show as well. And he said, absolutely. Well, he didn't really say that at the beginning. He's like, really, dude? That's going to be hard. I'm like, hey, listen, I wouldn't ask anybody else. I would ask only the best. And you and Brad are some of the best customizers I know um, in this community. And they really are, guys. If you see some of these guys' work, I mean, you could go to our Instagram, which is, by the way, underneath my name now. It's a new feature by StreamYard. You can add a second title. Um, Go check it out. They have put stuff up there. They've tagged us many times. Go check out their stuff. They're just awesome. So I asked both of them to do it, and they went to work. So Matt, Custom and Matthew, he did King Arthur for me, and I asked Brad if he would do Lancelot for me. I do have other people that I've asked that they want to do the round table. Some of them have said they would, and they didn't. Um, Dragon Eyes, yes, we're talking custom. Hold on, I will show you. Relax, sit down, kids. It's story time. So I have D also, who is a co-host of the A&R Weekly on Monday nights at 8:30 p.m. Pacific time. He is also a customizer and a really, really good one at that. And he is currently making me one of the nights. It's been in the year and a half in the workings because he does not want to make it. He doesn't like the show at all. He thinks the show is corny. And I said to him, "Of course, it's corny now. What did you expect?" And too much to his chagrin, he said, "Fine, I'll make you one." So he is going to make a figure. I don't know which one he's making. I did offer him some suggestions of a couple of them. So I think he's picked one of the three suggested I gave him, and so he'll make it. Mythic Legion would make. Do you know how expensive those figures are? Ain't nobody gonna make a Mythic Legion customs here. Come on now, we're not made out of money like you, Cowabunga. Yeah, so I'm gonna show you guys the King Arthur and Lancelot. So King Arthur was made. Now, keep in mind that I don't. The shield here is here somewhere. If you ever to put the camera down below here, you see a massive mound of stuff on my desk here, from figures to accessories to all kinds of stuff. So I couldn't find the shield, but I did find the figure of King Arthur, and this is based on the Marvel Legends hob is it goblin? Yeah, goblin body, and you can tell when you see the scale. The cape is magnetic, but I have to set it up properly. So I'm going to show you with the cape, and then I'll show you the actual piece on it too. So here's King Arthur. If you can see it, you could tell by the makeup of the white scaling here which figure it's from Marvel Legends, Goblin. So there he is, and then you can actually take and move the helmet up if you wanted to, and sort of explode. It's all magnetic, the helmet, so you can pop the helmet off and have it like that, and it just magnetically clips on, and there it is. And then if you take the cape off, which I have here, and then you can actually put the armor on from his shoulders, and the cape can hide underneath it too. So you can put the armor on these huge shoulder pads. But yeah, I mean the sword, he customized the sword too as well for me. It's absolutely stunning. Yes, the show is King Arthur and the Knights of Justice. But absolutely awesome. I love it. It's so cool. I love the actual sword that he actually put on the armor here. This is beautiful work. It's so smooth, just beautifully painted. The gold really pops. Articulation, no problem. No paint rub either. Just so well done. And I'm really happy to have this guy in my collection. So, yeah, Customs by Matthew. He's got it on his site. You can check out more pictures of it. And then I have from Brad Lancelot. Lancelot looks awesome. This shield that you see here is actually magnetic. It just pops on like that. So you piece of magnet in the back here, and he just clips on like that. And then the actual sword here, or the spear that he made himself, with some duct tape here. Not duct tape, uh, electrical wiring. I was lucky to find this because I was scrambling looking for this. I had it in a bin somewhere. But yeah, he looks really, really cool. So yeah, there it is. So I'm planning on getting the entire team put together. If you are a customizer and maybe make one for me, I will definitely compensate you to make one to fill out the entire team. I have asked other customizers, and hoping to get back from a couple to fill out the entire team. But these two are done, and one of them is D still making. I don't know which who, but hopefully some of the customizers. Yeah, that's Brad, man. Brad makes some killer figures. I'm telling you, he makes some killer figures. They both make amazing figures. They're such talented customizers. I get blown away every time, Matt or Brad show me some stuff. I'm just like, wow. I wish I had the time. I'm hoping in the future that I have the time to learn how to customize, because I used to build Gundams and paint them, and I used to love doing that back in the day, 30 years ago. I had a lot of time back then where I could sit for hours on end and sand and paint all that stuff. But with my busy schedule and doing multiple podcasts for you guys, which I love, don't get me wrong, I love doing podcasts, interacting with you guys. Like my morning's already awesome because if you guys are here asking questions and responding back to some of my questions. Yeah, they look amazing. Yeah, I know they're fantastic figures. So yeah, I mean, grateful that I have some friends who are local here because I could just call them out and ask them, hey, can you make this for me, or what do you think? Can you maybe uh, do a little bit of adjustments in some of these figures? Because sometimes figures you want to pre-paint them, things like that, and they're like, yeah, sure, like we'll figure it out. We'll schedule you in, and you're local, so it's gonna be easy. You can just drop it off, or you could just pick it up. I mean, Brad only lives like 5 minutes from me, and then Matt lives about half an hour away from me. But yeah, I mean, it's awesome to have some friends like that who can make some beautiful figures like these two. I wanted to share that with you guys. I'm a massive fan of this show. Like I said, I don't know anybody else out there as big as fan as I am, just because of my love for King Arthur, the lore itself, the original tales. I've always loved everything about it. What I loved about King Arthur, the lore itself, is how he was very humble. He was very one with his people. He never, even though he was king and the leader of the whole Camelot, he was a knight at first, and he always treated everybody around him equally. One of the things, reasons why he has a round table is he wanted everyone to be equal in the table. There was no beginning or end of the table. It was everybody at the table has an equal part in the knighthood that he had built there. So I loved all of stuff like that. I love the magic, Merlin, his magical powers, and how he, you know, had Excalibur basically, um, in a stone, and had somebody worthy be able to pull it out. The magic behind that, the coolness about that, like who is worthy. It's like Thor, right? From to get his Mjolnir. Like if you're worthy, then you get able to lift that. If you're not, sorry, you can't. So everything about King Arthur was just an amazing experience. And then to see this, like I said, in an animation, I was just like blown away. And then the music when it hits at the beginning, I'm all over it, man. I clearly remember sitting down with my bowl of cereal, and when this show came on, I was just like, "Yep, I'm ready. Bring it to me." Having this and then having like Transformers or GI Joe, uh, in a line, like this was like banger after banger after banger of shows lined up for me. I mean, you don't get better than that. So yeah, I mean, if you haven't checked it out, it's on YouTube. There are a few episodes on YouTube. I don't know if everything is on YouTube or not, but you could definitely check out some of the episodes, and just get lost in the amazing storytellings of the 80s and 90s and early 2000s. I mean, I hope maybe a company can make a live action um, story, or live action of this show. I would love a TV show. Like, I mean, I like Game of Thrones. I mean, you could do something like that, but obviously a little bit brighter, with brighter colors. I mean, you definitely need to have Arthur in his gold armor. I mean, it doesn't have to be like bright gold, but it could be, like a dusted gold. But that story would be cool. I think people would love that if they made a live TV show. I'm just saying out there, whoever maybe, I know I'm a smaller YouTuber and nobody even watches that much of my show, but if anybody's out there listening, why would you not want to make a live TV show of this? You can definitely bank on the popularity of Game of Thrones and the not so popularity of Rings of Power. But people love this stuff right now. It's really hot. So I think this would be cool to make, and definitely get maybe Hasbro or somebody out there to make some action figures for this. Um, Even maybe NECA could maybe take a stab at making these figures. It's a small line, but I mean, if you could get horses, I mean, Mythic Legions, maybe they could make an offshoot version of this. That'd be pretty cool. I mean, I know they're expensive, but I would buy them if they look like anything like this. I'd buy them. They already got the horses down pat, the armor down pat, so this would just be plug and play if they get the license for it. Cowboy said, "Do you have another King Arthur show or a movie you like?" I did somewhat like the one with what's his name? The gentleman who plays James Bond. Oh my god, I forgot his name. But if you guys can remember, he did a King Arthur show. He was Arthur, but he was really old. Um, I haven't honestly, I haven't seen a really good King Arthur movie that hit on all marks. Some of them have something that's good, but then it was not good in other areas. So I haven't. Oh, okay. In the US, the show is streaming on Tubi. There you go. And Tubi, I believe, is free. It's just an ad-based streaming service. There you go. The Cowabunga dude just hooked you up with 2 seasons of awesomeness in the Knights of the Round Table. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I would love to see somebody take a stab at recreating this, animation or live action TV show, or even a movie, a 3-part trilogy. I actually was writing a story. I was actually looking at making doing a novel. I was in the process of it. I haven't finished it yet, but I had a whole story similar to this of Knights of the Round Table, um, but I would have had a little bit of a twist to it. And you know, I love writing it, and I don't know if I'm gonna ever finish it. This is a lot. Writing a book is not easy. Um, but I mean, one day maybe I could finish it, or I can hand it down to one of my kids to finish it, and who knows, it might do well. But I was in the process. I've put a lot of time into writing that book. I did it for many years. I don't know how many pages I've gone through in writing that book, but the script is somewhere here, tucked away somewhere. Um, Hopefully, one day I can get to finish it and put it on Amazon or something for $1, and then nobody buys it. Nobody buys it. It's $1, and like nobody's buying it. That's okay. I would have had fun creating it and writing it, so that's all that matters to me. Um, yeah, I mean, if you guys, what I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on like what is your favorite lore? Is did you ever? I mean, I know I'm talking about King Arthur here, but did you ever have King Arthur on your radar at all as a kid, or did you just like, nope, not for me. I'd rather do Transformers or this and that. I would love to hear that from you guys. What you guys thought? Let's see what in the chat here. So I remember that show. King Arthur figure really looks like it. Yeah, this figure is amazing, man. Like it's so cool. I love the scaling of it and all too. I mean, it helps having an action figure that already has this, so you don't have to make the scales. But look at all the other stuff that he did. You know, the thigh padding and all the sculpting that he had to do, the sword that he had to sculpt on the chest. This stuff takes time, man. People think it's easy. No, I've seen these guys work. You know, Matt usually has we used to Zoom back then during the pandemic, and he used to work on these figures while I would do something else like open figures because I had a lot of figures and I wanted to open them. And we would chat, and I would see him go to work, and yeah, the sculpting on this stuff not easy. These are all sculpted. They're not actual figures. The only thing that sculpt is the figures, the scaling in the back. For all the armor, most of it's sculpted, and to have it all smooth like that, well, it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work. The nice cut on the corners too. So yeah, I mean, this is art, and that's what I love. Customized stuff. It's art. It's unique. Dragon Eye says, I grew up on this show, King Arthur Knights of the Justice. It's what put King Arthur on my radar. As I got older, I read into much, much more. Do you have any recommendations? Like, what do you recommend to read? I would love to read some of the, like, or even an audiobook. 100%. Yeah, it is art. It's beautiful. It's like it's one of a kind if you think about it. Even if Matt was to make another King Arthur, it wouldn't exactly be like this because it's custom made. It's one of a kind, right? So, and then it's made from passion. That's what makes customized figures so good. It's made from passion, from an artist. And when I tell people who collect paintings, other types of statues from the art world, when I tell them this is art, they kind of look at me like I'm being silly. And I'm like, it's not silly. This is skill. This is skill, passion put into it, just like any other sculptor would do for any other creation. So this is art, and people should respect someone who does something like this. It's not everybody can go out there and just whip something like this up. It takes years, sometimes multiple years of learning how to do specific things. And there's different layers to this too. You got to know how to sculpt first. You got to recognize what body will go well with your sculpting. Then you got to also learn how to paint, sand. You know, there's a whole bunch of layers that you got to learn. Just painting alone could take years of perfection. I know I was talking to Brad about painting, and he was telling me like Brad is an artist that is really good at painting. He's probably the best. Even Matt could attest to it that Brad's painting skills are phenomenal. But those took years of learning and figuring out the techniques of how to paint properly, so you don't have blotches or run on paint or inaccuracies throughout the body. You want to have the paint to be consistent from top to bottom, not look different for the top to the lower body. So that kind of stuff alone takes time. So putting it all this together, it took many, many, many years of practice and learning to do this. So that's why I respect customizers who put out amazing things like that. And one of the things I don't like hearing is people complaining about sometimes customizers' prices. Some people will charge like $200 or $300 to do a figure. When you actually see the hours that they put in to do this stuff, you're gonna realize that they're getting paid like minimum wage if you break it down by hourly. 200, 300 might seem a lot to you for a figure, but if you actually see how much time they spend putting it all together, you're gonna realize that doesn't sound too bad, right? They're taking their time out of their day and their life to make something for you. And I'm not saying every customizer is going to make amazing, or some customizers are not that good and they kind of, say they are. But generally, the customizers who are out there making money or selling, they're pretty confident in their work, and most of them are pretty good. Did someone already mention Excalibur? Um, Excalibur, yeah, the TV show, Netflix, I believe it was, right? Oh, no, no, yeah, there was a Netflix show came out a few years ago. The it was about the lady in the lake. It was about her, and then Arthur was there. Excalibur was the BBC show. Yes, okay, that one was awesome. I loved that show. That came out, I think, maybe 8, 9 years ago, something like that. Maybe longer than that, maybe a decade ago. But that was a great show. I loved the chemistry between the two actors who played Merlin and Arthur. Fantastic. Great show, great twist on it. Yeah, what was sad about that show was it ended so abruptly. That really got me angry. I was like, what? Just when I was sinking my teeth into this show, they ended it. But that's what shows from BBC do. They don't like shows in BBC that, aside from maybe Doctor Who, they don't really drag on TV shows. It's like 2, 3 seasons and they're done. They're out. On to the next. And yeah, unfortunately, I was like so sad when that show ended because I really, really like that TV show. Thanks for reminding me. Yeah, that was a good show. Sorry, no, 1980s movie Excalibur, Beautiful Armor. I don't know about that one, but there was a show, BBC show. Uh, Merlin. Sorry, yeah, it was called Merlin. There you go. There, that's called Merlin. If you haven't seen, if you want to see a live action Arthur tale, I would definitely check out. I definitely recommend checking out Merlin. It's a good show. It ends pretty fast though, so if you're getting attached to it, just remember that it's gonna stab you deep in the chest and end it when you're like, "What? It was just getting good." Um, yes, speaking about the actual cost of putting a figure together, minimum wage for sure. Yeah, if not less. Yes, I definitely agree because I know Matt spent a lot of time doing this figure, and same with Brad. But they didn't complain. They love doing this stuff, and to them, this was a great challenge too as well. So, but yeah, I mean, don't if you can't afford it, don't buy it. Like it's just not. It's not about a bragging thing. It's that you have to understand that if you want something customized and it'd be one of a kind, you got to pay that one of a kind price to a lot of these customizers. So, and if you can't afford it, like I said, you don't need to buy it. I don't have a billion customized figures because I can't simply spend that much money on figures. But like I said, when stuff like this I know probably are never going to get made or very slim chance of ever getting made, then I get them customized. Some people like to get Marvel and GI Joe stuff made. To me, hey, cool, that's your money. Do whatever you want with it. But I just know that Marvel and GI Joe are going to bring those figures eventually out, especially popular ones, right? So I don't get those customized made. I'll maybe get it altered, have the paint changed a little bit, or maybe the complexion changed. I might do that, and that's not too much from customizers. Generally, it's not as expensive as building a figure from the ground up, so I might do that. What's the brick said? But yeah, it's Merlin. Who was the gentleman that was in that movie? Sean Connery. That's it. That was he had a King Arthur. I wonder. I can't remember. Was it Excalibur? I can't remember what it was called, but Sean Connery was King Arthur. He was a really old King Arthur. It was kind of weird, but and I believe in the show, Lancelot and Guinevere went behind his back and cheated on him, and I can't remember the whole story, but it was a movie. Can't remember the name, but Sean Connery. I remember that movie as a kid. I wasn't too impressed with that. I was like, "What? Why is this guy so old? Like he had white hair, and he was like really, really old." I'm like, "What? Why is he so old and everybody else is so young?" He was literally like 20 years older than everybody else at the table. I was like, "What is going on here?" But yeah, there hasn't been a whole lot. I remember there was another one that tried to reboot in the late uh, 90s or early 2000s. They tried to reboot it. I can't remember the gentleman's name, but that wasn't that great either. My issue with all these people is I don't know why they can't get it right. Why is it so hard to get this right? Why do they always try to make a twist on everything? Just keep to the core, like round table, bad guys, good guys, fight. King Arthur, awesome. I, do this. This is awesome. This is going to be an awesome movie if you make this into a movie or TV show. It would be awesome because the cool thing, like I said, about the shields, the the animal that's on the shield comes to life to protect. Dude, people will lose their minds in theaters or at home watching something like that. With today's technology, the way we can do CGI, people will lose their mind if Arthur grabs a shield and the dragon comes out to aid them in their need, right? I think people lose their mind. Let's see here. I get that in my line. I want figs. One Tosca is bionic six. I'll pay for those. Yeah, I mean, if you like something, and you don't have it in your collection, you don't think the companies will ever make it, then reach out to a customizer. There's different customizers with different price points, and maybe reach out to someone that's already made those figures so they have an idea. Because um, if someone who's already made a line that you like, their second time around, I bet will be a lot better because they probably learned a lot from the first time. I know when I talk to Brad, Matt, or D about the figures that they make, and I ask them if they make multiples of it, is it difficult? And most of the time, they're like, no, the first figure we were able to figure out where our flaws were, and then the second time we make a figure like that, we can go and perfect it and make it even better than the first time around. So if you're looking to make specific figures in the customized world, get them done for you, go seek out a customizer that's already made those figures or made figures very similar to that, because you know that they're probably going to be able to knock it out of the park to make that line for you because they've got experience in making figures from that line or very similar to that. Um, if they have never made it, they probably could turn it out if they're talented enough, but you got to remember that whatever they give you at the end of the day, that's their skill set. They'll do their best and give it to you. And if you're not happy with it, well, that's also the challenge here. Is like you get what you expect. You have to do your research and look at their the portfolio. There's a lot of people on Facebook and Instagram that have portfolios. Like for example, Phoenix Force Customs. Um, I've actually asked him and try to book him out for a whole year. I'm like, I will book you out for the whole year. He only makes six figures per year because it takes him a lot of time to put the work in. His hair, sculpting, his painting, his eyes, they're fantastic. Probably one of the best customers as I know. And we engaged in some conversation. It's been a while, been trying to get him to make some figures for me because he's been super busy and booked for sometimes over a year. Finally, I was able to get a hold of him and convince him that I want to book him for the whole year. I said, I want you all to myself. Yes, I'm being greedy, but too bad. I want some cool figures from him. So We're in the works of getting at least 4 figures made and a head sculpt done in the next year, and then the following year, I'm probably going to book him out to make another 6 figures. Have him make me a line of amazing figures. His specialty is female figures from the Marvel Legends era of the line. He's really good at making like Jean. Obviously, the name Phoenix Force kind of gives it away, but he just makes some beautiful figures. I'm really excited to see what he can turn out for me in the next year or so, probably till the end of 2024. I'll definitely will check it out. Yeah, 1981. Okay, a year after I was born. Liam Neeson in it. Whoa, Liam Neeson. Wow. Okay. Helen Mirren. Okay. Okay. I'll check it out. Definitely check it out. Um, yeah. So if you love customization, I mean, why don't you? If you're into really customizing, why don't you give it a dabble yourself? There's a plenty of YouTube videos out there, but you gotta have the time, you have the patience and dedication to do this because it's not like you could just figure it out in a couple of goes. Maybe some people could if they're super talented, but yeah, talent does also come into play too. You got to have some skill sets that you can develop and get better at. I definitely think that I could probably learn how to paint well and get better painting. I don't know about sculpting. I'm probably going to be horrible at it. It will take me many, many years to figure out how to sculpt properly. But paint wise, I think I can. I'm pretty happy with the level of paint technique that I have, but obviously not to the level these guys are at. But I definitely think I could paint stuff eventually down the road and get better at it, especially mixing colors and getting flesh tones and all that stuff downright. Mixing colors and getting the consistency throughout the body is very important. You really got to know how to do that and thinning out your paints. Why has this become a customized show? I have no idea. I just went with it. It's off a little tangent. I'm by myself, like I said. Uh, Hopefully Chris comes back in a couple of weeks and doesn't run off and never come back. No, but Chris is working. He had to work a couple of weeks, so he said he shall be back in a couple of weeks. We do this show every 2 weeks as well. We don't do it every week. It's every bi-weekly. So that helps as well. We do need a break here and there. I do definitely need a break. I got multiple podcasts that we do here. Speaking of that, on Sunday, 9:05 p.m. Pacific time, we are doing the Popcorn Chicken review of The Last of Us. If you haven't seen that show, man, I don't know what you're doing. You got to see that show. In my opinion, it could be the best TV show of 2023. I know it's crazy. It's only February, and I'm telling you right now, whoa, it's so good. They are actually just killing it. They're respecting the game, the fans of the game, and but they're giving you a little bit of a change, not too much, but enough to just say, hey, we wanted to keep you on your toes a little bit, but also respect the game itself and continue the story. The main story has to continue; it cannot be changed. It's just a great show. I definitely implore you to check it out. It's on HBO. It starts, I think, 6 p.m. on Eastern Seaboard, and then the last show ends at 9 p.m. Pacific time. That's why we do it at 9:05. We finish on the Western Seaboard here. Come, turn on all the lights in our cameras, and start talking at 9:05. Myself, Justin, and sometimes Nathan, we jump on and we break down the whole episode. So join us 9:05 Pacific p.m. On Sunday nights, and we'll do a breakdown. I think it's episode 4 that we're doing breakdown of. But yeah, great show. And then don't forget our main show, A&R Weekly, 8:30 Pacific time. We do a show there every week, me and D, and maybe sometimes Brad or other people from the team. We do topics from what's going on in the pop culture world, whether it be movies, TV shows, or action figures. Uh, this has been a slice, guys. Obviously, today's episode's a little bit shorter. I don't want to get too much into the King Arthur because I want to maybe talk about it down the road as well, maybe a specific episode and some of the character designs. I want to do that, and I will prepare a slideshow to do that as well. I just wanted to introduce it to this Saturday morning show. If you haven't checked it out, like Cowabunga Dude said, go to Tubi or YouTube, and you can check out the episodes. And then the next time when we do talk about it, um, and if you're here, maybe you guys can give your opinion on what you thought of the show. Or the next time we come on, you could let me know, hey, I liked it, or hey, I didn't like it. And then Chris will be like, what are you guys talking about? And I'll fill Chris in, and Chris probably will be like, okay, maybe he'll check it out. Um, I know in 2 weeks' time, we're gonna have a pretty cool show as well. We've already planned ahead for it. I'm not going to be there though. This time I'm going to be gone. Chris is going to bring in a couple of members from the team, and I'm going to be actually gone on a family vacation, mini vacation for a few days. Look at the rest of the show on the replay. Alvin, thanks for engaging with us. Catch you on a minute. Absolutely, man. If you can't watch us live, definitely watch us on the replay. Help support this channel. If you're new here, subscribe. I don't know why you're not subscribing, because we give away prizes to all our subscribers. Just go ask AI. Go ask some of these other people who are tagging on Instagram. Go ask some of the people who watch our regular toy reviews. We're giving them prizes every month, but you don't win if you're not a subscriber. So there are people watching us but not subscribing. I don't understand that. Just click the subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything. Everything is free. So yeah, subscribe, and also click the like button. Everybody who is subscribed and who is watching this stuff, because when you hit that like button, it sends a little beacon of hope to the algorithm saying, hey, put this video out for other people to see, because there are people there clicking on this like button. So do that. It helps. We want to reach out to lots of people. I want to give away crazy toys. I've got a bunch, like a warehouse full of toys that I've collected, and my wife's like, get them out of here. You have way too many toys. And I'm like, well, I don't want to throw them away. I want to give them away. So I'm going to be giving away some older toys, some new stuff. Oh, man, there's so much to give away, but people got to come here and subscribe, grow the channel, support us, and we'll do all kinds of giveaways every month. It's just crazy stuff that I've lined up. So, yeah, I appreciate you guys for joining me this morning. Mighty Mornings. Mighty Mornings. There he is. We're going to make a better shirt than this one. This was just a little demo shirt that I wanted to see how it looks. But Mighty Morning, the Mighty Beaver. We'll make some cool shirts, and we'll get a site up where you guys can pick up these shirts for really cheap, good quality stuff. But, hey, appreciate everybody getting up in the morning, or if you're early up in the morning, have a good morning. I hope this morning is started off with a nice positivity. I hope the show was good for you guys. I apologize for being a little short today on the show, but hey, I'm by myself. I did my best. I hope I entertained you enough. Some of you guys didn't even know what the show was, and so now you can go check it out, and you can thank me. Or if you don't like the show, maybe not even say anything. Don't even be negative around me about it. Yeah, have yourself a good morning, guys, and we'll catch you guys in 2 weeks. Mighty Mornings. Yeah, have a mighty morning yourself. Take care, guys. Bye bye.